Hello everyone, welcome to Mark Walks. Today is Thursday, December 11th, and I'm just standing outside of the St. Lawrence Market right now. St. Lawrence Market is a world famous market, and it was once crowned the best in the world by National Geographic in 2012, which is quite amazing for the city of Toronto. A lot has been going on this week, and in Canada, Bank of Canada just held their rates at 2.25%. They cited that the economy has some growth in certain areas, and we're in like a more of a neutral zone right now, and they're taking a wait and see, so they may pause for some time. Whereas the US, the Fed, lowered their rates by 25 basis points to a range of 3.5 and 3.75. So a fair bit higher than the 2.25% in Canada. The Fed uses a range for some flexibility in markets and overnight lending, whereas we have a set number. Currently in the Old Town and St. Lawrence market area, and recent sales here have kind of fired off pretty decently in November. This building here is Market Wharf, it's directly in the middle, and it had a 1+1 without parking cell for $650,000, approximately 670 square feet or so. There was also a decent sale over at the Berksey, which is a boutique condo on the corner here. That one sold for just over $1 million. And there was a higher end sale as well over at 88 Scott, sold for $2.8 million, $2.875 I believe, which is quite high and gives a little bit of a vote of confidence to the area that someone will spend that kind of money right now on condos. So that's great to see. You can see it's quite sunny right now, but the Sky Tower breaking through the sky over there. Sky Tower is Canada's tallest building, currently broke over 100 floors, and it will top out around 350 meters. It's a super tall. The Sky Tower is being done by architects Gehry Ponterini, which is a Canadian firm, and we'll have a top floor restaurant, which would be quite spectacular. See a little bit more here, the sun's gone. And it will also have a high-end hotel in it, and I'd be curious to show some units in that at the 80th and above, which would be almost terrifying, but take a certain type of person to live up that high. And you can see here the L Tower. Wanted to mention again, notable mention for that, it won 8th place award on the Empress Skyscraper Awards for 2017. And I wanted to clarify it a bit because that award was given in 2017 for builds of 2016. And when the L Tower won, it still had a crane atop. So that's quite a vote of confidence that Empress would put it on the list and name it in 8th place. And it was up against office towers and commercial buildings, which is, again, pretty amazing. Just wanted to mention that again. It's quite the unique building for the city of Toronto. And it was designed by world famous architect Daniel Lipskin. Has high-end interiors by Studio Moon. This is the Berksey here. You can see it now, a little clearer. If we look down that way, you can see Sugar Wharf. And we're just at the corner here. Church, Wellington front. And the Gooderham is unfortunately covered up under some scaffolding, undergoing refurbishment. You can see the copper on the cupola now, the new copper placement, which will really shine when it's finished. The old copper had quite the patina on it, turned green. As far as the GTA markets are coming along, or not, I mean, it is kind of the slower months. Are we reaching snow bid, no bid snow for detached? Not really, but they are down in price. I'll just start from the top. The overall GTA market for November saw sales slip quite a bit, down 16%, and overall price for the GTA slipped 6.4%. And for detached, they're down in November 9%, which are down quite a bit, as condos are down much less in November. They're down 1.7%. And if we were to take from January, so let's do like almost like a year to date, from January to November this year, detached are down 2%. Condos are actually up, despite what the media will tell you and everyone else. Condos are up 1.5%. And for the market to recycle, it has to start from the bottom, because that's where the liquidity comes from. It doesn't come from the top end. So for the market to regain health, it really needs to start firing off condo sales, and condos really do have to kind of go up in value. And the market will start to hum back along in a new cycle. So that's something to watch for. If you start to see condos going up in value, you know it might be the return of a new cycle, but we are in choppy season, and the chop can last for quite some time. Once you reach peak drops. So from peak, detached are down in Toronto, 416, 25%, which is a huge drop. It's in bear market territory. And in Hamilton, because I cover that area, their detached market's down 28%, which is even more, which I predicted, and no one wanted to listen. But I remember calling in 21 for drops between 20 and 40%, just because of the exodus and the mania from the low rate environment. And if we discuss condo again, 416 condos are only down 16% only, still quite a bit. So correction, but not over 20%, which is more of a bear market. And once you breach below 30%, which some other areas outside of the GTA have, you're talking full-blown crash territory. So picking up off a bottom is almost non-existent in that range. It may just chop out for years. I saw prices fire off on detached houses. When I look back at sample sales, they were ahead by 10 to 30 years sometimes. So that's price scheduled for forward pricing of 10 to 30 years, compressed in only 2 years. So you can imagine what that will do to the market. Anyway, it's a lot to digest. Here we are approaching the financial district, and stock markets today, or indices, TSX hit an intraday record high, 31,700 or so. And the Dow Jones also hit an intraday record high today. Dow Jones is the world's oldest continuous indices, and it's a powerhouse indices for the US markets, and that hit intraday record high, like I said. Some other news came out this week. Microsoft is investing $7.5 billion in Canada, and that investment will move into its Azure cloud services for Canada and into AI through Cohere, which is a Canadian AI firm that Microsoft does business with. In terms of the AI, Oracle missed on expectations for its earnings and took a big hit, tumbled 15%. I'm not quite certain where it's at right now, if anyone's buying the dip on that, which is wild to see. But the market is kind of saying, show us. It's the show me the returns, or show me the ROI on this AI CapEx and spending, while you're missing earnings expectations. So see if that has more effect on things. And we're reaching these intraday records, but we're also approaching tax loss selling season, which is about mid-December for both our markets, Canada and US. People usually sell their losing positions to right against their profitable positions, so their capital gains. So they don't have to pay as much taxes. So sometimes the market takes quite a hit this time of year, and I'm not seeing that yet. It's not uncommon for a 10% correction in the indices, which kind of really haven't seen yet. Let's have a look up big. It's always nice to look around this area. And we also usually get a Santa Claus rally sometimes before holidays. So we'll see if that happens this year. And another interesting thing happened this week. West Texas Intermediate or crude oil benchmark in the US was overtaken by silver price. This has only happened 3 times in the last 65 years. So that is quite a signal. Yet to see if it's a bad signal or a good signal. And where the money has just been basically rotating. It's stuck on the top end. It's late stages of like a cycle. And what we need to see is a reversion back to value, entry level, and all of that. So that's kind of a recap on like markets. And here we are at the original TD Tower. Mies van der Rohe design, built in 1967. An absolutely stunning building, modernist building. You can see it's mostly steel and glass. International style is timeless in design, and you can stamp it almost anywhere in the world and it looks great. Another market, which I forgot to mention, is crypto. I invest in crypto. I invest in whatever, as long as it meets my principles. But crypto is just like muted and down quite a bit. Bitcoin has just been taking the steam out of the market. It has basically captured the liquidity, and all the institutions came in recently and stuck it. And the alts are just fluttering. They're not doing anything. So that's really bizarre to see Bitcoin. I mean, it is the grand poobah, but crypto has been acting really bizarre outside of the 4-year cycles. I mean, both the stock market and crypto market are kind of moving into quicker cycles. I think real estate as well. And crypto usually has a 4-year cycle after the halving of Bitcoin. But like I said, the institutions have stuck their teeth in and are really playing with Bitcoin and are muting the rest of the alts, which is where most of the profit's made. So we'll continue to hold and trade the alts because they still will 2 to 4x, which is not uncommon for them, but Bitcoin has been kind of controlling, dominating, and messing with things along with the institutions. Here we are back out on the King. Just walked through the TD Center. This here is BMO, first Canadian place. Towering skyscraper. And skyscrapers are anything over 150 meters, whereas super talls, like I mentioned back there, the Sky Tower is over 300 meters. So super talls are over 300 meters. This building here, first Canadian place, was the tallest for about 50 years. I think in Canada, in Toronto for sure, which means Canada probably. But it was overtaken recently by One Bloor West and now Sky Tower. So it's been dethroned. And another interesting thing about this building is the outside is like a ceramic or a glass clad. It had Carrara marble all the way up the building. It was all Carrara marble. And the clips came loose and pieces were falling. So it was really dangerous. And they had to reclad it with a lighter solution, which you now see. Moving on. This is the financial district, Bay Street area, and some of our top restaurants are here. Like over at the original TD Center there, the original TD Tower, It has one of my favorites, Canoe, a top floor restaurant. Some of the greatest service you'll find in the city and some of the best food. Another favorite is Key Lounge, which is straight on Bay in Brookfield Place. Those are wonderful options if you're right downtown in the core. See here, we're coming up on King in York. There's an Earl's there, which is, I would consider it the flagship. It's beautiful. It looks like it has a winter wonder lounge now, which is neat. And that Earl's has really good food for like a chain. It's phenomenal. I used to go there for lunches with some colleagues. Last night, we actually had our holiday party, which was really great. It was on King West at Barrow. Our brokerage has grown so large, we have to rent the top floor and not really have sit-downs until maybe we find a bigger restaurant. But our broker owners always do a great job with the holiday party. It was a lot of fun. It was good seeing new faces and all the old faces and chatting markets and just talking life. Everyone's doing well. No one's really phased. And everything will come back. The city has a big return to office boost, which should really show up next year. And forecast for next year, I would put it like detached, kind of flutter, maybe chop down a bit, and hopefully see the entry level move up positive territory. If we end this year in positive territory, I'm not certain. I might change that call. Whereas the last 5 years were driven by pandemic mania, exodus, and things of that nature, if we want to summarize what happened over the last 5 years. And that's all going to kind of wear off. And I think outside the city is in a lot more trouble than inside because of the RTO and the back to work mandates. And I think that detached outside the city will continue to chop down. That's just because of the future forward pricing that we saw. So there's a little bit of a summary and just a small forecast. I'll put one out a little later, maybe in a blog style. We're looking up University. This is one of the main arteries through the city. It's a beautiful boulevard style street, and up at Canada Life there. And it's a cross street, whereas King is one of the parallels. King is like less vehicle, more transit, had the King Street pilot project. So a lot of cars can only go a few blocks. I think it's just one block and they have to turn right. It's transit priority on King. And now we have a lot of these traffic guys, traffic agents, when it's really busy in the city, which is nice because they're moving cars along. Come up to Forma here because Frank Gehry unfortunately just passed away. So I wanted to show that building off because it's, again, another super unique for the city. It's special. It was highly coveted, highly priced. I hope those prices stick for all the buyers. I mean, I think it's worth it, but the city needs to stage a greater comeback for the condo market, for those values to really hold. And here we are at St. Andrew's Presbyterian. This is a Scottish origin church built in 1874. I believe it's the second iteration. Absolutely beautiful. Great stone church. You can see it's got 3 entryways on the portal with arches, and then smaller arch inset up top with like a flower mosaic medallion glass, which is really cool. And it looks fortified, kind of castle-esque. It's a Romanesque revival style. It was done by William Storm. But you can see it's got a turret here and a turret here. And looks very fortified, almost castle-esque, like I said. And on the back, it looks like there's a watchtower, which is the actual bell tower. But just common theme of the like fortification or castle-esque style of this Romanesque revival building. Church.
So yeah, no, I've gone a lot.
It's one of the greatest in the area. That's the bell tower there. You can kind of see it there. Beautiful. Looks fortified and looks like a watchtower, but it's a bell tower. And it's one of the greatest examples of ecclesiastical topography in a city, especially in this zone. Here we come upon Roy Thompson Hall, which is a cool, like, dome-esque modernist building done by Arthur Erickson, famous Canadian architect, known for like late stage modernism. And it's a beautiful concert hall with a little square outside, David Picot, and our old metropolitan buildings here. Old Metro Center. Left the financial district and are now King West Entertainment District, I would still call it. There's the Royal Alexandra Theatre. I believe it's the oldest theatre in the city. And there's a great condo here, Theatre Park, soft loft style by Brad Lamb. And this building is Forma. Currently probably 20 or 30 stories under construction. And it's designed by Frank Gehry, world famous star architect. He was born in Toronto and is known for his deconstructivist designs. And they're quite the spectacle. It's absolutely stunning. You can see the cladding now. It's a steel cladding and it's kind of misshapen and misformed like deconstructive modernism. And it's going to be absolutely unbelievable when it's done. Rip Frank Gehry, rest in peace. I wanted to show this off. This is the main gem or feature of this tour, the Forma building. There'll be two, and the second one will be over there, the white building. It'll be a super tall, another super tall. There'll be around 4 really well-known ones: Concord Sky, this Forma, and Sky Tower 3, and One Bloor West, 4 or 5. But just look at that cladding, it's unbelievable. It's going to really shine. It shines at night. I actually walked by last night, and the city really comes alive at night, even in the winter. It's just a charm to live in the city. And Forma is just going to be unreal. Let's see it here. It says Homecoming Masterpiece, designed by Frank Gehry. I had the privilege, an opportunity to go visit his home in Santa Monica, which is an unbelievable deconstructivist residence, the Gehry residence. And I was also lucky enough to go have a look at the Norton House, which is a cool, almost watchtower-esque house on the water in Venice Beach on the boardwalk. His architecture is always a spectacle, always interesting, and quite marvelous. This building resembles his project 8 Spruce in New York, down by Wall Street, which is a cool, kind of like an homage to that building here for Toronto. That's the gem of the walk. He left a lasting mark on our city and in architecture. He designed AGO, Art Gallery of Ontario, and now there's the only residential. I think I'll end the video here. Have a look at the Ritz Hotel and Residence. This is David Picot Square. Looks quite frozen over in the center here. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to buy or lease in the city, drop me a line and I'll reach out. Have a great day, happy holidays, and hope everything is well with you. Bye-bye.